Hey everybody, Roxy here. I'm just dropping in to say hi and hope that you're doing well. I know that most of us are sitting in isolation, and I just wanted to come and do a quick video about what I see and my observations of how people are reacting to certain circumstances today, because I can almost put them into three different types of people and three different types of reactions. And I guess I wanted to make this video to inspire you to be in control of your reactions and how you're dealing with your current circumstances. So the first thing to address is there's so much uncertainty around, and there's a lot of people feeling really powerless, and you know, it's like the world has turned upside down in a very short time. And I think when that happens, it breeds a lot of fear, and a lot of people who don't know what they're doing. It turns into a lot of mental health issues, but also from this I see so much compassion and so much humanity coming out, where people are helping each other and getting through this together. And even though we're isolated, there's been such a big a spike in social interaction, whether that be virtually online or just people connecting on the phone using technology, and that's been fantastic. So from what I see, there are a few ways that people are reacting to what's happening at the moment, and one of them sits around the fear-based reaction. Now, what I mean is there are people that are just gone into emergency fear mode. They're panic buying. They're honed into all these conspiracy theories. They're obsessing over the news. They're looking at the counts of deaths and cases, and just staying in this bubble of fear and anxiety, and you know, that place, like I mentioned before, it's not a very good place to keep your mindset. It doesn't actually do anything to fix your situation. It's literally just sitting there and worrying without taking any action. And so that's one thing that we should be trying to avoid. We should be trying to avoid focusing on listening to news regurgitate the same information, and you know, unless we're learning something new that is maybe going to help us move forward, we should be sort of turning off and blocking outlets that are just sitting there, and people that are just sending you propaganda. I've had so many people share articles about, you know, so many different conspiracy theories, and so many different fake news articles about how to beat the virus and what we should be doing, and just, you know, oh yes, if you put a banana on your head and you know, then that's going to kill the virus, or just ridiculousness, and you know, horrible stories and graphic pictures that really I don't need in my newsfeed, and I don't need it in my messenger personal inbox especially. And then so if you're one of those people that are doing that, you're spreading fear and panic, then you're not actually contributing to the mental health of your community around you. So just stop. And if you're in that zone, it's time to move out now. We've been in maybe in this situation for long enough to be able to kind of understand you know, where we're at, and maybe it's time to give ourselves the opportunity to settle into the mindset of, okay, we felt fear and we felt anxiety, now let's move on to more, you know, focusing on solutions and focusing on how we're going to move forward. So the second type of people are people that are they're denying that anything is happening. So they basically are going on with life as if nothing is happening, nothing has changed, because they are choosing to escape from inevitable fear and panic and anxiety. And so they're just like, oh, nothing's happening, it's fine, I don't want to hear nothing, it's fine, yep, all good, I'm just going to do what I do, and that's it. That is also not a very good reaction to circumstances in tough times, because it means that you block yourself completely from trying to focus on identifying the problems that you're facing, and then being able to move into a solution based mindset. So that's not a good place to be either. Don't be in denial that nothing is happening. Don't go out to have picnics with your families, and I mean, you'll get fined anyway, but don't also completely withdraw from current circumstances. It's really important to stay present with what's happening and in the moment, without being obsessive on the fear and the anxiety and the problems. So the third type of people that I talked about are people that are just waiting it out. Now, this kind of sits in, it's good to sort of see what happens kind of vibe, but this sits in where you'll find people who are just like, okay, I'm just going to follow the rules and just do what the government tells me and what I know that I should be doing, and that's perfect, and just wait it out. And then in a few weeks or in a few months, everything's going to go back to normal. Everything will be back to front, back up and running, and we just will continue life the way that it has been. And that, my friends, is a delusion. We cannot expect the world will ever be the same after going through something like this. Now, that's a huge thing to think about. If somebody hasn't told you, I'm telling you, the world will not be the same after this. When all of these restrictions have lifted, it will not be the same. It will not go back to normal, and that's just the reality of the situation. And so we really need to get our heads around what's happening today, and we need to see and try and forecast how this will play out in the long run, and how we can move to be part of the new world that we're about to step into once everything has been lifted. Now, so I'm going to address the idea of feeling powerless, and just say that the one thing that we know that we can control is, us and our immediate environment. Now, if you're at home, then you can control your energy at home. You can control your health and well-being. You can control the conversations and stories that you have with your conversations that you have with your family, and you can control the overall personal environment that you create for yourself, and you can control your mindset. And that is super important, because while you're feeling powerless about controlling and losing control over what's happening in the world, you can still be in control of your emotions, your mindset, and your immediate environment. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I think it's a really important thing that we need to address. We need to be able to see today and what's happening today as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to change and to evolve into something else. Now, we've almost been forced into a situation where we're now having to look at things differently, and a lot of people would have never had this awakening, or would have never had this chance to be able to see a different perspective. Sometimes out of poor circumstances and unfortunate circumstances, we birth incredible opportunities and ideas, and that's what I want you to focus on today. So, for example, a little while ago, for a while now, I've been talking about how the 9 to 5, full-time work sort of life isn't really, it's never been for me. And it is muchness to me a little bit of a trap into how you lose control over your freedom and the things that you are doing, unless you are super active in your business and you are a part owner. But working for somebody and working as an employer and not having the control over your time is one of the things that I've always sort of tried to steer away from. And for the very first time, I'm seeing those people who used to tell me, yes, but you should get a 9-to-5 job because you have job security and there's no risk and there's minimum risk and all that kind of stuff. All of a sudden, these people have just had the rudest shock, because I think overnight, or in the matter of a couple of weeks, everybody was out on their asses. Everybody was fired. All of a sudden, that job security meant absolutely nothing. And at the same time as this happened in this part of my community, there was another part of my community who are entrepreneurs, who are, sole traders and all that kind of stuff, who were left with nothing because they had put all of their eggs into one basket. And I really did speak about this. I have spoken about this before, where everything, even though they were in control of their business relied on them to have only one particular skill set, only one basket to draw from. And then when that basket, say events or gigs, fell apart, then their entire business model also fell apart. And then there is this other group, the third group of people that are thriving at the moment because they have set up their plan for moving forward, whether that be learning or whether that be developing new businesses, and people who have actually always thought, well, you know what, I want to be in control of my business, so I'm going to start my own business. I'm not going to put all the eggs into one basket. I'm just going to take what I learned over here and do a little bit of work over here. I'm going to do a little bit of work over here and do a little bit of work over here and make a little bit of money here, a little bit of money here. And if this one falls, then I've still got this one and this one and this one. Those people are the entrepreneurial minds that at the moment today, they're thriving through this situation. So not everybody is struggling. Some people have been able to make money in this period, but it's because they had thought about the idea that they control their actions, they control their time, and they've focused and prioritized being able to be more self-sufficient as a business person or as an artist or whatever it is that they're doing, and being really clear about that. So what do you do, and how will you move forward with this situation? A few things that we should be focusing on in this time is to upskill, getting creative, and ensuring that the control comes back to you. Now, whether that be in your work life or in your creative life, say as an artist, or or whether that be in how you're going to navigate looking after your kids and your energy and your family energy at home and homeschooling or whatever it is, the thing that you are actually worried about is not money. I mean, yes, we need money for bills and things like that, but really the thing that is more important than money is having control and having options over things. Money is only there to give you options. Money is only there to help give you to do something. If you had money and nothing to spend it on, it would mean nothing. So you need to think about it that way. The goals that you're achieving actually surpass the idea of having money, because money is just, it's paper, or it's, it is a means to be getting something else. So that's a really good maybe take away from this video. What is it that you want to do with your money, and why is it important to you? And beyond sort of basic living, what is it that you actually want to work towards? Is it having more time to do something? Is it having more freedom to do things? Is it being able to creatively start something or whatever? So I think that when you're looking at upskilling, now is the time. If you're sitting at home and you don't know how to move forward, I'm going to say that firstly, the government has released a lot of stimulus packages. Get in on those. Firstly, if you haven't done it, doesn't matter if you have to, sit on the phone for hours. Just get your applications in. Make sure that your basic needs are taken care of. And once you have that, you will realize that you may have a bit of time to prepare for the next phase. We're in a phase of preparation. So what that means is once your basic needs and food and rent and whatever it is and safety and health are taken care of, then the next thing is how should we plan to deal with the world that will come after these restrictions have lifted, because it's going to be different. And I'll tell you just some examples of how I see things are going to be different. Firstly, a lot of people at the moment, they've been told to work from home. Now, before that wasn't really a viable option for people, and going into offices and working from home hadn't been, it wasn't really a thing, or it wasn't taken seriously. People have, and now they're like, oh my God, I can actually work from home. My business doesn't crumble from working from home. And I feel like at the end of this, when people are told to go back into the office, they're not going to want to. Then there's going to be much more flexible terms in the way that we actually perform those 9-to-5 jobs. And businesses even will see that they won't need maybe to fork out big money on rental properties for offices, because they now can employ staff to work remotely and trust staff to get the job done. And that's a big shift in the way that we do our business, and that's a really exciting shift, for people that are me, are advocates about working from home and working from anywhere and being on your own time. Now, secondly, working and leveraging technology. Now working online it's been tainted with so many scams and things like that on the internet that it hadn't really been taken seriously as a legitimate way to make money. But now that the other conventional jobs are done, or some of them, a lot of them have ceased, people are like, oh my gosh, maybe I should start an online business. Maybe I should, how else am I gonna, oh my God, all of a sudden, internet and working online has become a very viable option, because you can work from home, because you can work from anywhere, because you can work on your own time, on your own hours. You can put your kids to sleep and then do a midnight shift, and you can reach other people on the other side of the world and still be okay. So those are the things that a couple of things, for example, that I think has changed, even the way that we purchase and consume things. Once people get into the feel of being able to online order things like groceries and clothes and whatever it is they need, then they're not going to want to go out to the supermarket. Once people get used to working out at home, and getting fit from home, they might not want to go to the gym anymore. So there is this shift in the way that we will think about things, and you'll see from those 4 points that I just made, industries that are building to serve that. So if you're thinking about doing something that will sit in the form of creating a business, have a look at how the world will change and how you will be able to serve that change later on smartly, and start upskilling yourself to be able to facilitate whatever those needs are going to be later on, and set yourself up now, because it's going to be too late to really sort of get things going when everything's lifted. Then, I'm going to start now. Now is time to prepare for what may happen in 3-6 months time. So the other thing is in the creative realm. Now, if you're a creative, whether that be an artist or a musician, right now you have more power to leverage the internet in the form of streaming your music, and whether that's live streaming or selling your music online, or things, or just getting better at your craft. Now, before, so many people were like, oh, I don't really have time because I'm gigging, I'm teaching, and then all of a sudden, you know, I don't have time to actually work on original music or work on my craft and practice or work on those projects that will benefit you long term. You know, you can't actually be a cover music singer forever. It's you know, at some point, if you're relying on you and singing and having that live music, you can't be that forever. It gets tiring, you'll burn out. But you can create music that's original, and you can put it out to the world, and it can keep giving you income. It can, you know, bring back income every time, ongoing. People still go and buy things that I have released 10 years ago, and that's a reality. People are going and searching for things, and so that recurring income from something that you've done, that doesn't happen in the cover world. So if you're an artist and you are looking to finding yourself without any gigs, then pull yourself into the studio, pull yourself into collaboration and creative mode, and start creating things that you can leverage technology to then help you create income that is passive, and change the way that you are doing your business. So if you can't go out and do gigs, then learn how to do gigs online. If you can't go out and teach, then learn how to do teaching remotely. Whatever it is, jump on board and get doing it, because now is the time. Because later on, even when things will lift, people are still going to want to do things from home. There was a choice before to have one-on-one or group lessons for singing, for example. And when I went to Mauritius, I learned how to do that online, and it worked just fine. It meant that I could teach from anywhere, wherever, if I'm at home or in a different country, and I opened my market up to the rest of the world. And that's something that you can't do when you're doing live music at a pub or in a local area. And so just this shift of that going away gives you an opportunity to expand in new territory if you haven't already. So I guess what I'm saying is that we're in a preparation phase, and it's time to really focus on the things that are going to make your next, say in 3 months or in 6 months time, better. And the things that we need to focus on is regaining our control over our time and our freedom and our income, so that it is reliant on us, so that somebody can't just go, you're done, you're fired, and then you're screwed. Yeah. And upskilling on the things that you need to be able to create whatever it is, whether it's a business, whether it's a brand, whether it's a personal brand, or whether it's music, whatever it is that you've been wanting to do. Now is the time to get involved in doing that. And third is to not get stuck in the things that you can't control. You can control your health. Now is the time to get fit. Now is the time to get motivated. Now is the time to work on your skills. Now is the time to make sure that you have a plan for what comes after, what comes next. I hope that you found this video inspiring, and that you will come back to me with any questions. I want to expand a little bit more on what I've been doing online and as a musician, but not having all my eggs in one basket, other things that I've been doing to generate some income. So if you're interested in learning about more of what I've been talking about, and you want to do some work with me, I've been coaching this for a little while now. So if you want to get upskilled in whatever it is, come and reach out, just have a conversation. We can talk about different options, and you know, maybe I can help you get your plan together and see a vision, and maybe see that light at the end of the tunnel that you might not be seeing at the moment. Thank you so much for staying and watching my video, and I hope that you have a really nice day. Look after each other, look after yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon.